So you and Jacob Rees-Mogg were broadcasting live. The police intervener said everybody has to move. At that point, you didn't know what was happening.
We didn't, and we weren't told for a whole hour. We removed quickly to a little hut we've got in the woods here, and I said, it was the only clever thing I said all evening, I said to our cameraman, can you get a camera and can we do the show from right here? And within 1 or 2 minutes, GB News was back on the air. Because
unlike the other stations,
nobody is here. We are the only people here.
Yeah.
You've become the Coronation channel, very much so, the Coronation station. And we were on air from our little hut when somebody said, well, you've got to leave. Still no explanation. And I don't like anybody interfering with us, going about our lawful occasions. We're accredited. We've been checked. We've got the passes, we've been down here and we're paying a lot of rent for this little piece of real estate, and we were being prevented from doing our job.
Were you frightened at all at that point?
No, absolutely not. I really wasn't. I mean, I've been around the world a little bit and I knew what was going on. They were making checks, but we weren't told, and the whole of this event hadn't finished, because then they said, you've got to vacate, that was the point you saw, you've got to vacate this hut. And that's when the controlled explosion went off. And I must say that Jacob Rees-Mogg, who I'd never met before, was cool under fire. Yeah. He was absolutely superb. And he's not a professional broadcaster, as are we. And he found the right words and he delivered them beautifully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So full credit to him, and full credit to our camera crew, and full credit to GB News, because the Coronation station was on air. All the other little pygmies in their tents weren't here.
Quite right. Now, we're going to talk to you about David Starkey, because he's done 2 brilliant documentaries on the royal family for GB News. It was a jaw-dropper for Bev and I as we ended the programme yesterday. He told us that his conclusion in the second documentary was, this will be the last coronation. And I said, I hope you're wrong, David. He said, I hope I'm wrong too. We're going to talk to him a little later about that, and also about the civil servant Sue Gray dodging answers. But what's your view?
Well, I hesitate to disagree with so eminent an authority as David Starkey. But I've always felt that a constitutional monarchy, which is our best defence against extremism and dictatorship in this country, rather suits the British temperament. And if you look at the heir apparent, he has an approval rating of 71%, that's Prince William, and his wife, 72%.
Yeah.
Every single politician in the Western world where these things aren't fixed would die for an approval rating that high.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just going to give you a little test. There are 43 monarchies in the world, and there are 149 republics. If I said to you, would you rather live in Morocco or Algeria? Would you rather live in Jordan or Syria? Would you rather live in Japan or China? Would you rather live in Denmark or Lithuania? If you chose the first choice, every time you chose a monarchy, because monarchies tend to be happier lands. And I think we ought to actually pat ourselves on the back, congratulate ourselves, hug ourselves. And the interesting thing is, another poll, you can prove anything with polls, but 51% of people thought there would be a monarchy in 50 years' time. But I fall back on King Farouk. King Farouk, the last king of Egypt. And he said, before he was overthrown, he said, in 100 years' time, there will be 5 kings left. The kings of hearts, clubs, diamonds, spades, and the King of England.
Absolutely right.